Have you hit the button for the music?
Hmm?
Did you use the button?
Now you have to be.
Yeah, it says original sound from musicians on.
Okay. I can see something up there.
Thanks
because
for
I
the
want-
heads up.
I can actually read.
There's
before.
Katrina. Hi, Katrina.
Morning, Katrina.
Hi, Katrina.
God, we ought to buy us a building and have a real church, you know?
Yeah, we actually got a good group today.
If we only had some money.
Yeah, that's right.
We gave it all away.
Too bad we gave it all away.
Did we ever get a thank you from that one group?
I haven't heard from FUM or Western about the money they received.
Did they get it?
We did. A thank you note is on the way.
Okay.
It's in the mail. No, I wrote back to your treasurer to let her know that we received it and all. So thank you. That was a great boost.
Yeah, I think Kristen must be out of town, because we tried to get a hold of her this week and she has not responded back. I would think probably the people who got the money may have sent her the thank you note.
Well, they hadn't as of last week,
Yeah, well, I don't know about
as
this
of
week.
monthly meeting.
Yeah, we
She's
tried to get
usually
a hold of her
pretty
this
quick
week.
about responding if she's in town.
Yeah.
So.
She may be in
Yeah,
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Dealing with cars.
Rescuing
Exactly.
cars.
That's true.
Exactly.
I bet you're right. Didn't talk about that, but yeah. But that's right. Yep. Hmm.
Well, as we gather, are there any announcements? Oh, we'll do announcements and then we'll do the prelude.
Okay.
Are there any announcements that need to be made?
Lynn and I met with Susan Struby, the principal at West Newton, and told her about our offer to give money to the school, and she was very touched.
Matter of fact, she cried.
Well, I've made women cry before, but they're usually not tears of joy.
I tried to
Susan's
understand.
was tears of joy.
Unless you were leaving.
But anyway, because of the large amount that we were giving them, it had to go before the school board and be approved. But she was very touched.
Great.
That's great.
So Lynn has a prelude for us. Well, are there joys and concerns to share this morning?
Stan and I are going to a wedding this afternoon of our first grandchild. Mackenzie is getting married at 2:30 today, and I'm sitting here feeling very emotional.
I have something that our 4-H group that met for a number of years in our meeting house when we were still in West Newton. And over the years, you know, we have allowed scout groups and 4-H groups to meet there. And so Julie Ferguson, their 4-H leader, brought this to me yesterday. It's a flower basket, and all of the 4-Hers made a flower to put in, and they signed the back and wrote a little note there. But I'd like to read to the group a letter that their leader, Julie Ferguson, brought to me yesterday. Dear friends, thank you for letting us meet in your building in the past. We appreciate the opportunity to meet in your beautiful facility. Although we were sad to see you let it go, we understand the reasoning and appreciate your stewardship in that regard. We were welcomed into the Friends community at Valley Mills, and it is always a pleasure working with our local Friends meetings. This letter is to say thank you for the generous gift of $300 to our 4-H club. We have kindergartners through high school kids who attend and enjoy learning and working together. Your gift will be used to provide materials for our club, and I will submit receipts when items are purchased. The kids have expressed interest in subjects that our leaders are not yet qualified to teach. Your gift will enable us to obtain 4-H manuals and materials to help us all learn about rocketry, aeronautics, computers, forestry, communication, and other subjects the members are excited to explore. Your gift is an investment in their future.
Very nice.
No, I,
Very nice. Yep.
Well, on a bit darker note, a prayer request would be for Eden Grace. Some of you know her. She was working in the Friends United meeting office for many years as the global ministries person. She has had cancer for about 6 months, and things are not going well. According to what she put on Caring Bridge yesterday, her cancer has come back, and her surgery to remove it was not that long ago. She'll be undergoing some chemo, which may help her for a few months or a couple of years, or we don't know. But when it's no longer really helpful, then she'll stop it in her hospice, which is really hard to wrap my head around at this point. Somebody who is so full of life and enthusiasm and knows Quakers so well and has so much to teach us and to share with us, and now this has happened. She and her family, she has a husband and 2 sons, and they all need our thoughts and prayers.
Nancy and I have a neighbor across the road that, if he doesn't see movement around our place for a day or two, he will come over and make sure everybody's okay. He's also an excellent mechanic and does a lot of stuff for us. He actually is the guy that put in the water lines last winter for us and will not take any money. And the other day I was over at his house. I was helping him do something. I can't remember what it was. And he said, well, if you see it dark over here, it's because we can't pay our power and light bill. And he said, we have went through everything that Power and Light offers to get caught up. And he said, we haven't done it. We haven't been able to do it. So I'm thinking he's probably living with the generator that a neighbor loaned him. And his power and light bill's $3,000, so.
Wow.
Just keep Chris and Jennifer in your prayers, cause they're very nice people that just can't seem to get a leg up on, and they've got a house full of grandkids, and it's pretty tough, and I just feel like we ought to put them in our prayers.
Well, let's hold all these, both joys and concerns, in God's light and love as we center into some silence. Chip's the worship leader, and he will lead out of the silence as he feels led.
Good morning, friends. I really had a hard time coming up with a message for today. I guess you could say I was overly stimulated by all the news. Yes, I do know I watch too much news, and sometimes it puts me in a real bad state of mind. What gets me now is how we, the people, are so divided on issues. All of them. War, guns, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, books, school, and global warming. And let's not even get into politics or religion. I had the news on a few weeks ago, and they were talking about the war in Ukraine, the war in Sudan, and the war in Palestine, and China doing military drills around Taiwan. It made me think of the verse from Matthew 24:6, and this is from the New King James Version. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And it goes on to tell us not to worry about earthquakes and other things. Well, we've sure had a lot of other things like tornadoes, floods, and even a volcano or two. But don't worry, as it is not the end of the world. Well, at least that is what it says in the book. And as many will point out, if it's written in the book, it has to be true. Moving on. This week I saw on the news where a young man on his way to pick up his twin brothers was shot because he rang the wrong doorbell at the wrong house. He was shot twice. The next day a woman was shot because she was turning around in someone's driveway. And then a little girl was shot because she ran into the neighbor's yard to retrieve her ball. What is wrong with us? Why are we acting this way? I wanted to go downtown and protest when the NRA was here, but my family would not let me go because they were afraid I would get shot. Now don't worry, I'm not about to do an anti-gun message. I don't want to go there, and I have no idea what I could say. If the killing of innocent children at Sandy Hook didn't get any action, I don't think my message would or could do anything. In Matthew that I just read, with all that may be going on, what is it? It isn't the end. Well, maybe not the end of the world, but if you have a child shot and killed at school, it is the end of the world as you know it. Now we'll do a flashback to when I was in my 40s and was living on the east side of Indy. I was working in my yard and I heard a little voice that said, old man, old man. And I looked around and a young boy told me his ball had gone into my yard and would I please get it for him. I handed him the ball and he told me how nice my yard looked. Another time, a little girl with her brother and sisters were trying to pick berries off one of my trees. I asked her, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm picking berries." I had to laugh. I told her to get down from that broken ladder and I would help her pick the berries. The children left with a full pail and were very happy. Never did it cross my mind to shoot them. Okay, the flashback's over. So I had a good talk with God and I asked for a movie or something I could talk about today. Later that day, I was looking at posts on my Facebook, and as I scrolled down, I found a post from my friend and favorite director, Ellie Sullivan Sellers. She had posted something I really needed to hear. The author is unknown, but here's what was posted. A young woman sat on a bus. At the next stop, a loud and grumpy old lady came and sat by her. She squeezed into her seat and bumped her with her numerous bags. The person sitting on the other side of the young lady got upset, asked her why she did not speak up and say something. The young lady responded with a smile. It is not necessary to be rude or argue over something so insignificant. The journey together is so short. I get off at the next stop. This response needs to be written in gold letters. It is not necessary to argue over something so insignificant. Our journey together is so short. If each one of us realized that our time here is so short, that to darken it with quarrels, futile arguments, not forgiving others, discontentment, and a fault-finding attitude would be a waste of time and energy. Did someone break your heart? Be calm. The journey is short. Did someone betray, bully, cheat, or humiliate you? Be calm. Forgive. The journey is short. Whatever troubles anyone brings us, let us remember that our journey together is short. No one knows how long the journey will be. No one knows where their stop will come. Our journey together is short. Let us cherish friends and family. Let us be respectful, kind, and forgiving to each other. Let us be filled with gratitude and gladness. If I have ever hurt you, I ask forgiveness. If you have ever hurt me, I already have given you forgiveness. After all, our journey together is short. Well, I needed that. I needed to hear that. So my message today is about making the best of the time we have together as our journey is short. Let's think about what the author wrote in his Facebook post. I have no idea how long our journey or those around us is going to be. So we need to make the best of it. We can't hang on to things that may have upset us in the past. It does no good. I was bullied and humiliated in high school. I hated going to school every day. I hated it. But I was able to move on. I didn't think about the classmates that were cruel to me. I don't think about school at all. Now, I wish I could forgive everyone who has has hurt me, but I am a Pearson, and that sort of thing does not come easy for us. But I'm working on it, and I hope others are kinder than me and forgive me if I have hurt them. Yes, my heart has been broken, and I live alone, but living alone is my choice, not because I am bitter or sad. I am the first to admit I'm not easy to live with, and rather than living with someone, I enjoy the company of my cats. I do worry about family. I do a prayer of protection for each of them when they go off to work or school. The same goes for friends when they are ill or going on a trip. You see, when you're retired, and not really good at housekeeping, you have a lot of time to pray and talk with God. Our journey is short. We need to tell people that we love them. We need to tell people that have made a difference in our lives that we really appreciate them. We need to tell our children how proud we are of them and how much they mean to us. Please don't take for granted that they know it already, as they may not. Grandma Artie just turned 102. She doesn't have a bad day. She is always happy and tells you how good she feels. She doesn't worry about stuff, and she's always happy to see you and knows who you are and is ready to give you a big hug. We should all be more like Grandma Artie. It was suggested I write a journal of all the things I do each day that I was proud of. Well, I started it along with the things I'm grateful for. Oh, each day I'm grateful for so much, but I find very little that I'm proud of that I did. So I started putting down things that made me happy. And lots of things make me happy. Little things like the pretty clouds, birds singing, a cat asleep on my lap, visits with my cousins, going out to eat with friends, and home-cooked meals. So many that I had to stop writing about them because they interfered with my time of being happy. As I close, I just want you to remember that God can get us through a lot, but we need to do our part as well. Try not to judge or assume. Try to be kinder to others. Someone out there may need a hug or a pat on the back. Try and smile more. Be interested in other people's religion. Ask questions, but don't argue. Call someone you haven't talked to for a while and just let them know that you are thinking of them. We're all on a short journey. Let's try to do our best. May the light of God surround you. May the love of God enfold you. May the power of God protect you. And may the presence of God watch over you. For wherever you are, God is.
Chip, it's a little hard to respond to your very inspiring message this morning. I think what I get from it is that it reminds us that we are all human. And as human beings, we have good traits and not so good traits. And I think it's very important that we concentrate on the good traits, that we try to be good, try to be nice to each other. Some people have rosary beads that they use to remind them. Some of them have a cross over the door that they touch. For me, we have a sign in our front yard which has 3 simple words for it that I try to remember when somebody cuts me off in traffic or I hear bad news on the TV or radio or whatever. And those 3 words are just be kind. Just be kind. And if we could all do that, then we would be able to take in your message, which was a very powerful, very inspiring message this morning. I thank you for that.
We'll now continue in on-program worship and bid farewell for those friends who need to leave, and hope to see you next week.
If you can just take that and put it on the box over there so it stays there. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you.
spent a lot of time in this last year thinking about people who have had an influence on my life. And while some of the people that influenced my life, some people I know and some people I don't even know, had a negative effect on my life, fortunately, many of them had a very positive effect on my life. And I think Chip's message, which included the fact that our journey here is very, very short, should encourage us to focus on the positive rather than the negative. Unfortunately, if you watch the news or listen to the news or read the news, almost everything is negative. And that really can be a downer, can really be depressing. And I struggle with how to overcome that negativity. And one thing that has worked for me is to think of all the people that have had a positive influence on my life, which I am grateful for. Family and friends and acquaintances have also had a positive effect on my life. So I think my thoughts and prayers and all of that this morning would be that each of us try to find ways to be positive, to have a positive effect on those around us. It's so easy to be negative, be depressed. And sometimes it's hard to see the sunlight behind the clouds. But I think it is as people who believe in God, who believe in Christ, it is our duty and responsibility to find and share the light in any way that we can. So I thank all the people, including you folks here, that have had a positive effect on my life, how much I appreciate that. And how much I would encourage you and myself to continue to be a positive influence on those around us.
Well, if all hearts are free, we'll close meeting for worship.
Thank you, Chip. You always have such a good point to your messages. I really enjoy hearing what you have to say and following how you get to the point. You do a very good job of speaking. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Are you saying that he kind of leads us through the wilderness before we get to the altar?
I think so.
Moses on the way to the promised land.
That's right.
Okay, well, Sunday school will be in 15 minutes or so. Hope you can join us then.
Bye.
Bye.
See my hand.
I always felt